Hey, this is Michael with digitaltshirtshop.com. Another week and another segment of the self-reliance, my path, my plan. I forget what it's called. My path, my plan, whatever. This week was keeping customers. So I thought this was interesting. Every week that I've done this, I went to business school, and we talked about a lot of things, a lot of concepts. You study a lot, you plan a lot, but and I know a lot of this stuff, but I'll just say this has been really good to have a refresher on this, especially with having started a business and running a business, because there are things that sometimes you just let slide. I do. I let it slide. I don't claim to be the perfect businessman. I don't claim to be the most all-knowing. I don't claim to be the most studious. I don't claim to be the most well-read. Any of those things. But I like it. I like it. I like doing it. I like starting businesses. I would, so that's part of one of the reasons why I did this as well, is for that reason, because I do enjoy it and I enjoy talking about it. So anyhow, talking about this, keeping customers. So the book starts with reviewing the prior week and contacting each other, and then it starts with, again, this particular format really ties the temporal and the spiritual together, given that it's tied to a religious organization. There is quite an emphasis on having God or a spiritual aspect to your business. So in this case, what they've asked us to do here is every morning make a list of things to do. Pray for guidance. So get some spiritual input into what we're doing. And, that might require altering the list slightly. Set priorities. What are the most important things? And then throughout the day, focusing on getting those things done. Set goals and act. Go through and tackle your list. And at the end of the night, report. Report to your maker. This format in general is actually very good. You're actually adding some planning into what you're doing. You're prioritizing the importance of things. And then there's a reporting and accountability aspect of this particular outline right here. And in general, when we report, that accountability aspect of it, whether we're reporting to a spouse or we're reporting to God or we're reporting to a business partner, or to our journal or whatever, there can be a sense of accomplishment with having completed things. If there are things that are important to be done, we can feel as though we are making strides and taking steps towards achieving our major goals by following this format. So there were, I'm going to just check here real fast, because there were a couple things that was right there that I talked about them. Oh, yeah. there were, so I've got my book as well. Um, there were a couple things that, people talked about. This guy, I've never heard of him before. I think his name's Brian Tracy, and he talks about eating the frog. And apparently he's really big into these goals and setting priorities. I haven't gone and researched him yet, but I intend to go look him up and see kind of what he has to say about this. But in this discussion, we started last night talking about affirmation statements. And I had, these are I am statements that are character building and kind of what you want to see yourself be. And I went and I've actually done one of those in the past. I've got it written down somewhere, and along the lines, I stopped saying it, and I stopped using it and lost the paper that I had it on and all of that. It's got to be on one of my computers, and I'm not sure which one. And I haven't taken the time to go look for it. But in general, I think an affirmation statement's a good thing. With mine, I had talked about being a good husband, being a good father, being a successful businessman, a successful entrepreneur, and a number of those types of things, as well as what I tried to do is I tried to cover some aspects of my family and my faith and my business activities and general health in my affirmation. And I think that it helped me kind of keep focus on who I am and who I want to be. And I think there can be a lot that we can develop ourselves with an affirmation like that. So anyways, then this moving forward, I didn't want to take a lot of time on this today. So there's a video tied to this. A woman basically talks about those steps. And then we kind of went into building and engaging with our customers. And some of the things we talked about were getting customer feedback, things that we send to our customers that encourage them to come back. And we talked about a number of businesses that have models where they try to entice people to spend a little bit more or complete a purchase or those different types of things. We talked about engaging with them in social media. We talked about sending emails to them to stay in contact with them. And honestly, this is one area where I have been deeply, deeply flawed. And I would say it's in part because I maybe a little bit of laziness, maybe a lack of interest in it, but it's an incredibly important part of business. One thing that you look at a customer and somebody, I'd step back just a little bit. What I tell my employees at work all the time is that it is so important. Well, I'd take that back. The easiest customer to retain is the customer that you already have. The easiest customer to retain is the customer you already have. The easiest customer to get into the store to make a purchase is the customer who's already been in the store and made a purchase. And they kind of reiterated that in this chapter, talking about retaining and maintaining customers who have already shopped with you. When I look at that and I think, I've had thousands of customers over the years that have purchased from me. And in a lot of cases, I just simply have not had the time or an interest in continuing to engage with them. It's not a lack of gratitude for people who have come and made purchases. It's simply, probably, I would say, just simply maybe being too focused on growing the company rather than maintaining, getting people to shop or buy a second time from me. And I know that people have, excuse me, I know that people have made return purchases from me on numerous occasions because they seem to always uh, make an emphasis of having done that. Um, so as we talked last night, it's one of the areas that I really felt like I needed to um, stretch myself was to actually take the thousands of email addresses that I have and in some way try to engage with my customers or use the platforms I have that have the ability to turn around and contact my customers to turn around and engage with my customers. Likewise, one of the things that came about from this was um, looking at what am I trying to say here? Altering my uh, autoresponders. So people who have made purchases and it turns around and it responds to them, hey, thank you for making a purchase, to add some sort of action within it. Call to action. Thank you for making a purchase. For example, if you turn around and make another purchase within the next 90 days, use this coupon code or whatever. And actually, I don't know that I don't have a system that's complicated enough to put a complex coupon code system in it, but I could definitely create a generic bounce back coupon that could be used by people who have previously made purchases from me. So that would actually be quite easy to do. And, possibly if they got something like that that said, hey, we'd love to have you come back, make another purchase, potentially that would, generate some additional business for us. So there could be some real great benefits to that and utilizing the customer that I already have to make additional purchases. So down the road. Anyhow, so moving forward here, one of the other things that came about from this was autoresponders bounce backs. On the next page here, so they talked about listening to your customers. I've actually, from a previous chapter in this book, I decided to go do some market research and put a survey together. I'd like to do a separate video on that and talk about where I'm kind of going with that before I send it out, and then we'll do a video on the response from it. I need to do more with social media. It's a great place where people talk about things and you get the word of mouth interaction. Now, one of the things that actually came about this as well is I've got this vlog as a marketing piece as well. Now, this vlog is interesting in the sense that I have put this business together and I have purposefully chosen not to tell anybody about it and let it kind of grow organically by people just coming across it and watching it and sharing it and following it. And over the last 6 months or 8 months or so, I guess started in January, so it's actually been almost 10 months as we've been, because this actually a full year of this wraps up the end of January. So we've got, actually, I guess it's been 9 months. So we still have November, December, and January. So 9 months we've been doing this, trying to grow our business and get our business to a point where we're actually making a decent income on it. And Again, I have just chosen to not tell anybody about it that I know. And as we talked about it last night, and I was telling them about this vlog, and even going to these classes, I kind of mentioned it last week, but I didn't really talk to them about what I was doing until yesterday. And as I talked to them about it, they're like, wow, you really probably ought to share it with people and actively push it. And maybe I should. And as I talked to them last night, I kind of thought that, maybe I ought to alter what I'm doing. Because really it's, if it was any other person who had started a business, they would more than likely really try to engage the people that they know first of all. At least family and close friends, they would engage with them. And that's something that I just haven't done. I have simply put it online to see what would happen. So 9 months into it, we do still have a very small following, a very small subscribership, but we've been generating sales. And obviously we haven't had to have the viewers or subscribers to this vlog to actually generate the sales. So anyways, I'll probably do a video specifically to tell family and friends about this. I keep touching the little pad here and it keeps moving everything around, but I'll probably start telling them about it and maybe make a video specifically to tell them about it as I try to maybe act on what we talked about and follow some suggestions from people in my group talking about this. So anyways, but that's kind of what this week was about, engaging with our customers, customer feedback, and moving forward. And then as it always does, it asks you to have somebody that you work with during the week and set some goals and and then move forward with your business. So there was actually one good video on this that we watched. And all of this again can be found on lds.org. It's free, and I believe that it's in the, let's see here, lds.org. Families, individuals, self-reliance, manuals, videos. We're on this one for starting and growing a business. This was chapter 5, I believe. Chapter 4. Adjusting to market changes. That's probably what it was. There's two ladies talking about, one is a tutor, started a tutoring business, and then her tutoring business has started to suffer because of market changes. And so she's talking to a friend about the market changes and trying to discover how she can modify her business or what she ought to do because her business isn't generating the income that she needs. And in turn, it ends up developing into how can she modify her business so that she can continue to cater to her customers within a changing environment where people are wanting to shift online. And it's sketched out, and you can tell that it's a written out sketch, the way that it's acted and everything like that. It's not dramatized perfectly, but The concept is actually very, very good, I think, in that we, as we look at where our opportunities lie, there are opportunities. We just need to see those opportunities, and they may be right before us. So, anyhow, this is what it is. That's what it was for the week. I'd love to have you subscribe to digitaltshirtshop.com. We'll continue talking about these, and it's actually been really good going through this as I've been doing. It's actually starting a business and looking at how uh, either I'm doing the things that it suggests, or I'm not doing the things, or even finding things that I can do with my business to help it grow and achieve the goals. Now, we have a goal of selling 20 shirts a day on average, month to month. Actually getting to that point, it could be that we need a lot of these things in order to do that. So, anyhow, there you go. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later.